Thank you, sir. Pull back on that throttle. Let us hear it. That's what we need. Two-barrel carburetor right there. Then we're going to start with our major sponsor, Beck's Hybrids. We got 3 tractors from the Beck's boys over here. We got first Mr. Eugene Stufflebaum from Lewistown, Illinois. Clayton driving. 1955 Oliver, made in 1974. So that's, you got to kind of watch how you say 1955 and 1974. Then we have the John Deere 730 diesel, Eugene Stufflebaum from Lewistown, and Jacob Schultz is driving that one. Also one of the Beck's guys. You can meet them all in the Beck's tent over here, right behind us right there.
We sure appreciate them. I don't know how many years they've been a sponsor of the show, but they really make things happen for us.
And from Tipton, Indiana, close to Atlanta, Indiana, where that Robert Kincaid driving this original 400. That's an original, Max. That's still original.
I think it's been in the shed about every night.
Every night.
It's sat outside much.
I think he put a blanket and a pillow with it every night, too.
I like that patina.
Then we got Corn Picker Bob here.
Bob Johnson, who has really helped the show every year, bringing the pickers, organizing the picker exhibit, writing books. He and Phyllis have done a tremendous job in putting books together about corn pickers.
Now look at that thing. He goes fast with that. The muffler and the air cleaner are both leaning back towards him. That's the one of them go fast 4430s. 1970 Farmall 656 gold demonstrator right here. Randy Gingle from Bremen, Indiana. Randy Gingle bought new in 1970 from the Farm Progress Show. Right there, gold demo.
Here's the 67 4020. Sean Klingle from over in Bergen, Indiana. Chris Klingle is actually driving the tractor, but the hay and auger tractor must still work out there.
You bet. 1973 Massey 1130. That's an 1130. Danny Coons owns this one. Over at Arthur, Zach Peters driving it. The 1130 Massey. Now we got the 1150 Massey. This is Danny Coons. That's Zach driving that one.
What's the story on that big sheet?
It's just special. Danny's got all kinds of Masseys. The Coons family's been in the Massey business for years and years.
Jim Fleming here, a longtime friend of ours, farm broadcaster back in the day, worked for the Human Resources Area and Agriculture from Arthur, Illinois. Second owner, Original Paint. Tractor came out of Wisconsin, used for some belt work.
What paint? What paint? Jim's going out to paint there. Oh, we got this 1924 Model T Montgomery Ward's tractor conversion right there. Ted and Mary Lynn Hunt from Prairie Creek, Indiana, the way I got it. Ted is driving it. And he's going to have an interview with you later.
Here's an older Oliver, goodness gracious, Oliver Hart Barn, made in 1937, a Model 70. Ron Severin from Benton, Indiana, owns it. Carter is driving it. Carter's the great-grandson. Thank you, sir. Here's a 1206.
1206 Wheatland, 1967. Chris Hills, 3 generations of riding that thing. From Waconda, Missouri.
Nate Neiman from up in Freeport, Illinois, Stevenson County, with his 1206, made in 1966. Think they still have a show up in Stevenson County there. Good show every summer.
Good show and good fair up there in Stevenson County. Then we got the 66 1206. Neil Brugger owns that. And from Davis, Illinois, Jordan driving that thing. You would think that we featured 1206s here, Mike. What do you think? There's about,
I believe it was over
250 or so.
256 or something like that. Here's the one from Lexington, Missouri. Randy Hoffman has this 1206. We're front wheel assist 1966. 1206. They had 1206s all the way from the Mexican border to Maine.
Ain't that something? There's a 1206. That's the early one because it got a decal instead of that plate on the side. That's Dwayne Schmidt from Marathon, Wisconsin. Serial number 7590. Very early one.
Look at this flash up here, Russell. Ed Sloan owns this at Hobbs, Indiana. Scott Gates is driving it. It's 1971 Mini Low. There's a little extra power in there.
6-wheel drive. He's got that A4T, and then he's got that 1350. Nope, that's a 1050 because it's got axles that don't have planetary. And then he's got a 2605 those motors together. That makes it a 1210. And then he's got that 2700 Minneapolis Moline cubic inch motor behind it. That
The front one was an irrigation engine, and the back one ran a cotton shed.
There you go. Look at all the power he's got. If you add that up, there's 800, 800, 1210, and 2700. Oh, who's this guy?
It's Roger Tuttle sitting in the truck with Larry Eipers driving. Roger turned 90 just a few days ago up in DeKalb County. So glad to have you guys here. Mr. Eipers has been a big help to me in restoring my old truck and getting it fixed up this summer, and I appreciate those guys so much. Beautiful international pickup. Harold McQueen's in the house. Harold's from up in Mantino, and at 19, we don't know the year. We don't know the year. It's a 4440 John Deere. Harold's been involved with tractor this a long time. Beautiful plow. He's been out there plowing. You can see his little residue.
Then we've got this 1967 International 1600 Lodestar fire truck from Macon, Missouri. It's the original fire truck for the coal mine, for the International Harvester coal mine in Benham, Kentucky. That's why I just said them. So
think about that tremendous history.
Yeah, there's a lot of history there.
They made a bunch of fire trucks back in the day that wound up in rural fire departments and actually big city fire departments. Chicago had a bunch of international trucks, special trucks in their lineup. Here's a 1971 4320 John Deere. Bob Kriblis from Potomac. Jonathan Lyons is the driver. Painted for the late John Bruns. John painted that 10 years ago. We just lost John, unfortunately, a few weeks back in a tractor accident. Just a reminder to always be as careful as you possibly can. Mr. Lanou, Mr. Storlock Jeff from Iroquois County
with pipe dreams. He calls this thing pipe dreams. He got that made from Max Armstrong.
Yeah, look at that thing. Come on, hit the throttle, pal. Let's hear it.
He's also the Storlock toolbox salesman.
He is. He helped us. All the way from Rinks in Belgium, 60 miles out of Brussels, Belgium. Heinrich Kirchhoff's. Yeah, right there on a 3088. Now, he has Massey's at home, but I think Heinrich can handle just about anything. It's great to have Heinrich and Anita here every year, coming over from Belgium. Wonderful people, great farmers.
Then we have a 1966 1206 Bucky Doolin family from Cordova, Maryland. Logan Milby's driving that thing. Early model 1206 right there. Next one up is going to be Webb Doolin owns this one. Bobby Greeley is driving this one also from Maryland. Like I say, these things traveled a long way to get here, Max, all these 1206s.
We sure appreciate it. I don't know how many states have been represented in equipment hauled in here, but I know it's all the way from Arizona to Maine, and goodness gracious, I think from Florida somewhere up into the Pacific Northwest. There's a 4320 made in 1971 by John Deere. Doug Majors from Lancaster, Ohio owns it and is driving it with a factory narrow front end. It was featured, in fact, and it may look familiar to some of you. It was featured in the June Green magazine this year.
That 4320, that was a 4020 on steroids. That's what that amounted to. Then we got another 4320 right here. Edgar Hurst from Millersburg, Kentucky, and Edgar's driving it. It's got 3,306 hours, original hours on it. Right there.
A 1971 John Deere 4620 from the Hurst family collection, Edgar's, of Millersburg, Kentucky. Bradley is driving it. His son is up there in the seat. And the shade under that protection of the cover. Power shift 20. Oh, wait. Must be a misprint. It says 2,970
original.
And the class of 71. Goodness gracious.
Now, who's this guy?
Mr. Putski's in the house.
West Lafayette, or is he from Scottsdale, Arizona? With his dual fuel WD-45. He's got a gas tank and an LP tank. So that he had that LP tank so he could cook out with it, plug it in the barbecue grill.
Fire up the grill.
Randy Klutsky.
I tell you what, it's been wonderful every year to have the Klutsky family here. And his dad, Marion, of course, came here many years with this dune buggy.
That is quite the doodlebug. The Alice Chalmers doodlebug. And how fast can it go, Max?
I forget what the mileage
I
was.
think it could go 50 mile an hour.
It would be faster than you'd want to go. You would always see Marion bouncing across the field down here. That's a great family. Wonderful to have you here.
Quite the operation. I think that was 1968, International 1568. Dwayne Cape, the Cullen Barney from Williamsburg, Indiana. Gary Green driving it, 1568. They had planetary where the 14 had full gears.
An Oliver 2255, yes, it's got a V8. That's the kind of thing that would give Max Armstrong even a harder hearing. And it's a Model 2250 made in 1970. Dwayne Cates, tractor, Al Cook driving it, into Williamsburg, Indiana.
And Al Cook usually drives the D21. I just still can't believe he gets on that Oliver. Massey Ferguson, 1969, 1155. Got the 540 Perkins V8 in there from Williamsburg, Indiana. Fred Lockwood driving that thing. Thank you, Fred, for driving that.
1966 Oliver with the banner from the American Tractor Museum, Perryville, Missouri. If you have not been, hold up just a second there, if you would. This is Alexis Musket tractor, and Rondell, Missouri. Justin Tercluse, I'm sorry for mispronouncing it, but if you haven't been to the American Tractor Museum, go down there. You will see more one-of-a-kind tractors than you've ever seen. Wonderful display put together. It gets better all the time. It's right off of I-55, just about 100 miles south of St. Louis. Go in there, tell them Max sent you, by golly. Thanks a lot for bringing it, sir. We appreciate it, Justin.
Then we've got the Alice Chalmers D19 from Florida, Cape Coral, Florida. D19, that's the first tractor tested at Nebraska with the turbocharger and the dry air cleaner. Very first tractor ever tested at Nebraska like that. Then we got that 1020, man.
1026 Hydro. Mel Sanders.
Oh, this is the 1020 right here. Walter Skelly from Brookston, Indiana, got that electric start on that thing. And it's 100 years old this year right there, that 1020 McCormick steering.
I was looking at the wrong card. Mel Sanders now on this 1026 Hydro coming right in front of us. Dating back to 1971, one of only 29 with factory MFD.
I was going to say, you can't hardly see a Hydro with a front wheel shift. That is rare. Then we got Mr. Bob DeVault, all the way from Romney, Indiana. He's pretty close to Atlanta over there where the best people are. He's driving that 1206. No, he's got help. He's got Brody driving that thing. Look at Brody on that steering wheel. He knows exactly what it's for. He cleaned the plow. He knows where the plow is at too, I bet, don't you, Brody?
I like that 725 box plow.
Oh, yeah, high clearance plow right there.
And here's Bob DeVault's 4020 coming up in front of us right now, made in 1972. From over in the Lafayette area, Ethan and Carter Miller. And that tractor has 2,500 hours since 1972. Where was it?
Ain't that tough. From Chatsworth, Georgia, pal, 220. Evan knows. Evan driving that 1970 220 Alice Chalmers. Took the place of the D21. And there's another 220 right behind it.
Yeah, 1969 220. Bruce Arnold and son from Bruce Arnold and son Isaac. Chatsworth, Georgia.
There we go.
Come on along with the tractors, guys. Don't be shy. Move them on up. Get them as far as you can.
Jonathan Langenberg, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's got brass pedals and brass throttles in 1952. Not too many like that. There's a few W9s that had brass brake pedals on them too.
There's a 4020 diesel made in 69. Rusty and Amanda Locker from Greenfield, Indiana on this. Alan Foster is up there on the seat, in control, very much in control.
There we got another 1206. 1967, David Compton from Tower Hill. I believe that's still in Shelby County. Tower Hill used to have a tractor wrecking yard that we would visit once in a while. David Compton, Clayton's driving it.
There's a bone yard. You were out there picking bones for your uncle. Tower Hill, Illinois tractor 73, 1466. Clayton Compton, David Compton driving it there. And air-conditioned comfort cab.
Got that year-round cab on that thing.
Got that antenna radio and a little bit over there. That's for AM and FM stereo.
Got another 1206. Kenny Compton. Kenny's driving this 1206. Also from Tower Hill. He's got the original cab on that one, yeah. That one's kind of hard up to hearing. And if you plugged up the plow very often, getting in and out of that cab, that was a job.
Unplug the plow.
Don't plug the plow.
Here's John Matthew Lash from Findlay with a 706 diesel, made in 1966. Louisiana tractor. That's why it has the Rice tires on there. Stored in 2013 and 2014. Painted by Eric Schuster back in the day.
Then we got that 656 all the way from New York. Dan Davis is driving that 656 Hydro right there, Mike. That is a nice all the way from New York.
Here's the Steiger. Panzer PTA 325. Doug Stillwell from Kelowna brought it. Rhoda Stillwell and Jenna Cameron are up there in the cab. All the way from Kelowna, Illinois.
And we got a 1965 John Deere 3020. Drew Hahn from Cox Creek, Kentucky. Drew's driving it. And it's got that 825 John Deere rollover plow right there.
That's a neat combination.
Yeah,
I'd
it
have
is.
something like that.
But something tells me if he pops the clutch, I think he's going to do a nice wheelie there.
Well, that could be another John Kinzenbaugh divot. We just resurfaced the runways that ran to it.
We got Dwight right there.
Dwight, Edmonton, Kentucky. With a Ford 101 with a 3-bottom plow. That's an 8-end front conversion, Sherman transmission, 1954. Who's this guy? JC.
Mr. J.C. Reitmeyer from Flatville, Illinois, driving this Farmall C that they're doing a raffle on, and to try to cure cancer. Got just the way that is, and I think what J.C. wants to do is win that thing and buy another seed with the cultivator, so he can plant sweet corn with this and cultivate the sweet corn with the other one. But we're not telling Karen about that. Oh, we got more Reitmeyer relationship right here.
That's a new one on the scene there.
This one here is 1959 560 with that Cat V8 conversion from Ashcombe, Illinois. Wyatt Davis is driving that with that 3208 Cat power in there. Kitty Cat power.
From Clifton, Illinois, Barron's Farm. Dallas Barron's has this 5010 diesel made in 1964. Oh yeah, we need to hear that. Make that smoke well. Shove it right up that pipe.
Now that's a 5010, but it's got the bigger motor in it out of a 680-630 where it looks to me. Then we got a 1938 John Deere A. James Johnson from Fort Wayne, Indiana. James is driving it. It's a 20-year-old barn find.
And from Dover, PA,
5 miles from home.
all the way from Pennsylvania, John Deere, GW, made in 1953. David Delp. David, thank you for coming all the way with that tractor. We sure appreciate it. We have a friend or two from Pennsylvania.
At least, well, he's handing me cards all the time. Something to say, something for me to talk about. Mr. Landis Zimmerman.
It's because of all the nice people out here that keep me coming back.
We sure appreciate you, Landis. 1975, 1466 Black Stripe. The number 258 Black Stripe built. Brody Hampkins. from Mona, he's from Iowa, Monona. I don't go all over to Iowa very often.
Alice Chalmers, well represented again this year at the show. Dennis Ramick, thank you, sir, for bringing this Alice Chalmers 210, made in 1972, but wait just a minute here. This isn't an ordinary one. This was the last Alice 210 to come off the line, serial number 2469.
Then we've got this 1954 Farmall Super HTA. They never made it, but if you go to the little 300 parts, you can make a HTA. Logansport, Indiana, Justin was driving Jerry Roller's HTA.
And here's a 1206. Jerry Roller's 1206 from over at Logansport, Cass County, Indiana. 1967 tractor. Jason Roller up in the seat there.
1964, Alice Chalmers D17, Caleb T. from Sterling, Illinois, up there in Sterling, Dixon area. All original, nearly 15,000 hours on that D17. Caleb's driving her.
Here's Steve Moster from Connorsville, Indiana. I've known some Mosters from over in that area. Tractor made in 1974 features the Sound Guard cab. It looks like it'd be pretty comfortable up in there too.
Yeah, that's a conversion to put a Sound Guard cab on a 7520. And it looks like it's factory. It's very nice.
Mighty pretty. What do you think? Pretty fillings done with that?
Oh, not lately.
I can't see that.
Not lately. Then we got a 1965 1206 from the Hendricks family in West Lafayette. Jason Hendricks driving that 1206 right there. You know where West Lafayette is, don't you, Max?
Yes, sir. Home of the Little Boilermaker basketball team. 1959. Oh, wait a minute. I'm jumping ahead.
Uh-oh. This is where a little bitty deer let me down in the Burl Lions country, Mr. Driving that
Jasper County?
Jasper County, finest right there.
Would that have been like an airport tractor or something? How do they use that?
That was used in the factory, I believe. They called it a shop mule.
Oh, yeah. Kind of looks like a tug from the airport. At 8:30, 1959 John Deere, Mark Voss, over in Rolling Prairie, Indiana. Is that LaPorte County? Yes, LaPorte County. Good friend of ours is the sheriff over there, Ron Heeg. Yeah, this is a 8:30 made in 1959.
And also from LaPorte, we got the Ames family. Brandon and Katie Ames driving that 1955-70 all fuel.
Cody Swank coming along with another John Deere tractor. This one's from over in LaPorte. Model G, 1939. They have a great county fair over there every year in LaPorte County.
Also from LaPorte, we got that 1936 John Deere A. Eric Keller's driving that.
Here comes that Christmas tree tractor. And you know, they only made 7 of them. Nobody jumped them, I'm sure. You just keep seeing them around and around. John and Peggy Curtis at Mount Vernon, Ohio. Home this, it was to use to mow grass out around the Christmas tree.
Ain't that
Made in 1951.
I think I can
Have a holly.
keep that knock off my head.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. Jeff Schaefer, Mount Vernon, Ohio. The 1964 4020 diesel.
1963 John Deere 3010 utility. Charlie Anderson, great-grandson to Russell Sensenball.
Oh, wait, we got a ringer in here, Russell.
Oh, he's back again. He's going to spread some more.
Are you campaigning for office? Why not? Everybody wants it. You're out? Yeah, he says he's out. You wait.
I bet you he's a billionaire just like all the rest. What do you think? He will be when he gets done, otherwise.
This message brought to you by Russell Moore. Here's a 1970 John Deere 4000 Lake Degassi from Maryville, Missouri. Blake's driving it up there in the northwest part of the state. Our friend Todd has a dealership up there.
Then we've got a 1969 John Deere 4520. Kurt Kelly Hagee from Burlington Junction, Missouri. Kurt's driving that. And I can't tell if that's got that repower for sure. I think it does. A lot of the 4520s did.
Kelly Hagee's up here on this tractor with a buddy. That's Stormy. Stormy, the healer. Oh, look, you can see Stormy's nose up there. 4620 power shift, made in 1971 by John Deere.
And we've got 1959 John Deere 730 diesel. Mike Ames, also from LaPorte, Indiana. Mike's driving that 730 diesel with the factory wide front end.
1972 1468 V8. Yeah, come on, Tyler, let's hear that V8. Come on. See, I knew he wanted to. He was just dying to go back in that throttle.
DV550. Then we got this 1975 International 1600 Lodestar. Connor Tortai from Martinson.
Look at that. What a great truck.
Boy, they made a lot of them in the 70s. You're listening to that 345 V8 in that thing. There it is.
Yeah, man.
Once again, got glass packs on her
If he does
back.
that again, I may have to go have a cigarette. I don't smoke. Here's a 1953 John Deere 70 with Darren Beebe, the owner from Rushville, Indiana. Darren is driving it.
There we got the 1957. John Deere 420, Cody Bell. Cody's driving this from Rushville.
That's Rushville.
I'm sorry. I
Badly
didn't know that.
damaged
As soon as I said that, I knew I was wrong.
Big tornado, 1965.
Yeah.
1969 Alice Chalmers 220. Bob Ruda is the owner, and Jim Chopper, I believe, was driving it. Nebraska Test Tractor. This was the Nebraska Test Tractor for the Model 220.
Then we got 1966 1206, the Hugh Ford from Medina, Illinois. Had a great time, Hugh says. He got that rear view mirror mounted up there.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, look down there, what's coming down there. We've got a cat representation. Don't go away, friends and neighbors. Caterpillar and Vegas. Oh, my. Here's a 1971 John Deere 4020 owned by Don and Carolyn Clark in Beecher City. Don is driving it. Got the MW power system there. Thanks for coming, sir. Sure have been pleased with what Cat has done for their 100th anniversary display here. We'll get to talk about it a little more.
Then we got this 1969 5020 with the 903 conversion. This is one of Kraft auctions that they brought in here. Now somebody's going to get that thing later on this fall. Kraft auction, one of our good sponsors. Want to thank them. They're driving this thing. Listen to that baby just purr. I bet he knows where the throttle's at too. What do you think, Mike?
Russell Hilton, Champaign County crop residue that won't wind up in your ditch. This is a John Deere 4320 from St. Paris, Ohio. Sean Reed owns it. Jake Reed is up there at the controls of this 72 tractor.
Then we got a 1975 Alice Model 200. Gustafson family up at Byron, Illinois, up in Ogle County.
The Gustafson family up there had a bunch. I knew them. They were folks very well back in the day. They had a tremendous display at the Florida Flywheelers down there. And wonderful couple. I came across a picture of them on my phone the other day. And this is Andy Gustafson on this D17, a 1966 tractor. That's Andy's tractor. Eamon Gustafson, I'm sorry, is in the seat there.
Yep. Andy was driving the 200. Yep. And then we got this 1206. Mark Buchanan from down at Harris, Illinois. Mark's driving it. Got the, he calls it a 1206T because it's on track. You got to have all them front weights on there to make it turn, I bet.
Also on track. Matt Buchanan here on one of Mark's tractors, 6032, made in 1973. These folks are the owner of Buchanan Farm Tractor Parts. The Smith & brought to you by Buchanan Farm Tractor Parts. I'm Max Armstrong. We now return you to your regular program.
1972 International, 544 all the way from Walkerville, Maryland. Bryce Eves is driving that thing.
Nice little tractor.
504 Weasel.
Here's 1206 from Maryland, Rocky Ridge. Lynn and Rebecca Eves. Garrison Eves up there on the seat. Hey, Garrison. Glad you're here. 1967, 1206. 67 was the last year.
Yep.
The 3-year period in which they made them.
And then we got from Hamill Farm to Champaign. Kyle Hamill's driving that 1981 8550. They always had a lot of Alabama on the Hamill Farm. Right there. Kyle driving that one.
We get to see this tractor from time to time. Go over that one. I think this 70-17 has made an appearance here in the past, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. I'm pretty sure that come from Wilkie's up there.
How many tractors do the Wilkies bring?
I think they might have brought 47.
I saw an estimate that there were like 16 or 17 loads came down from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That was the word for Waterloo.
Waterloo.
Where will you meet your Waterloo?
Where will we meet our Waterloo? Right behind the 7020 diesel right there. Then we got a WD-75.
Oh, listen to that. One of a kind. Dave McClure, Carlock, Illinois. For the 1966 A2 Leaner Combine motor. 1956 WD-45 diesel, 1953 rear end.
Then we got Mark McClure right behind. 4th generation tractor on that WD-45. Then we got a WC, unstyled WC.
Philip and Sam McClure here driving this unstyled. Oh no, wait a minute. That's the. Yeah, I'm a little behind here. Getting a little behind in my work.
Then we got Daniel McClure from Carlock on a little 919 with the one-bottom plow. 1984. Then we got that B Alice. Who's got the B Alice right there? From Lexington, Mr. Kirk Jensen. Come see our booth across from the flag, he says. Fellowship of Christian Farmers at 1951 B. Then we got a little 4020 there, Max.
Yeah, 110, Fellowship of Christian Farmers. Mason Wilkes is driving it. 110 garden tractor converted.
And then
They have a booth here, by the way, the Fellowship of Christian Farmers.
that BAIW, Nate Martin from Sandy Lake, Pennsylvania. That is a very unique case, BAIW, aircraft tug.
So what have you got going on the weekend of September 12th to the 14th? 100 years of Caterpillar. They have a website, thecenturyofcaterpillar.com. Where's that show to be? Elkader, Iowa? Elkader, Iowa. 100 years of Caterpillar. If you didn't get enough of watching them dance here, go over to Elkader that weekend, September 12th through the 14th.
Did he cross the scales with that load, though? That's a pretty heavy load he's got on that gooseneck right there. What do you think? He better hit all the scales along the
They'll
interstate.
be out with the portable scales.
Now this next thing would be hitting the scales, I believe.
I wonder where this scraper was made. Did they make them out of, did those come out of Decatur? Where have they been made?
It might have been. I know there's a lot of places around that they made different things, and maybe they just assemble all the parts there.
You know, that's one thing you do see. The parts coming into Cat plants come from various origins elsewhere in the country. You'll see those parts coming in on flatbed trucks into their facilities and leaving as the whole manufactured product.
What do you think? You use a quarter or two of paint on that thing to paint that?
Oh, think about that.
Holy cow. There is gallons and gallons of paint on that baby right there. That is something. And then it takes a rig like this to pull this rig too. Another oversized load. Now this one, he wants to avoid the scales. He don't want to go to the scales. He'll let that other one with the gooseneck go across the scales. All you kids, count how many axles this thing takes to haul this thing. You count all the axles, and that's what it takes to move all this big stuff. Look at this. And then when it gets there, look at the job it can do. I bet they used a 55-gallon bucket of paint to paint both of these scraper tractors. That's a Cat 660 right there with the 660 scraper box. Man, oh man, what a load. Did you count how many wheels are on there? How many axles? Because he had to have a permit to go with that thing down the road, I guarantee you.
And you know, that's one more thing to think about, the expense that some folks have gone to, Russell, of bringing equipment to this show. Not just the fuel, not just the time allocation, but the permits required to move some of these as well. So we need to give an extra thank you to these folks.
You bet, a big thank you. That's got to almost be an experimental tractor right there that Cat built, because everything they was building at that time would have been on track. That's not
The CW10 with a puller for a scraper. That was one of their first wheel tractors.
So they did make a few of them. Okay. Then we got a 1982 International 6588 Neil Broder from Rock City, Illinois. Todd is driving that 6588 while he's on the telephone.
A 1206 from Ohio. Made in 1966, Damon Paul from Forest, Ohio.
Then we got 1952 Oliver 66 Road Top, Justin Thompson from Garden, Tennessee, and he says it's his wife's favorite tractor, and she let you drive it. There you go.
You know, it's important to have the spouse weighing in on this. I learned through
A long time
42
ago.
years of doing. Dave
Yeah.
Appleton of Freedom, Wisconsin, with an Alice 210, made in 1971.
Been down the track a time or two. Look at that. And then we got the 1972 210 David Appleton from Freedom, Wisconsin. He bought that new on the farm, he says. And they all got that green flag on there from Ralph Marshall. The Cheers for Cancer on them green flags. You can get them over there at the Alice booth.
Land handler, it says on those tractors. Land handler.
Then we got that D15 Alice right there. Boy, that's a pretty little car. Looks like it's, and with an Alice umbrella even.
It is. Did you have an umbrella on your tractor? Did you keep it on there?
When we was cultivating, we always had an umbrella.
Yeah, it was nice and slow.
Little
Pass it up
190 XP miniature right there, Max. That's a dandy. And then we got that CA with that cultivator right there. I bet that thing really, you gotta get that sweet shine up on that a little bit more. Shine them babies up. Boy, that's the original Persian orange right there.
Russell, did you get a little sleepy after lunchtime cultivating out there?
Yeah, if you had the right lunch.
I explained to my dad it was an insect problem out there. And the answer is Ryan Farms in Kentucky with his Massey Ferguson 178. Williamstown, Kentucky. Sandy Ryan driving that. 1970 tractor built in Coventry, England. Oh, maybe Richard Riley brought that over. And we've got several from across the pond, it appears here. This is a 148 Massey Ferguson, which came from France. Ryan Farms, Patrick Ryan driving it, 1973 tractor.
Tucker Starwall from Toledo, driving that 1466, 1974. Doug Elder, Tucker's the driver.
Jeff Blacker with his Case 870, made in 1971. Neighbor Emma is riding up there on the center of that nice looking Case tractor.
Then we got 1971 4320. Jeff Blacker from Colfax, Indiana. Brad Powell is driving that. 4320, that's what they call the Super 4020.
A Minneapolis Moline UV, where will you be? It's a special gas tractor, Hansel Price. Brought this all the way from Saluda, South Carolina, and Creighton is driving it. It's the gasoline version made in 1955 only, has power steering, engine upgrade, interchangeable front end, first seen on the UV special, restoration by Mount Hope Tractor.
Same way here with this UV diesel. UV special diesel, like they come with power steering and an interchangeable front end. You could go narrow front, single front, or wide front end, all on them Molines, all the way up to G1000.
And we thank those folks for bringing that lineup of tractors from Saluda, South Carolina.
The Minneapolis Moline Model BF actually began with the Cleat Truck General back in 1939. Was sold to Avery during World War II, and then Minneapolis Moline bought it quite a bit later. 1951, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And then we've got a Scout, International Scout, 1971. Where's that from, Max? Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at it. I was so busy looking at the vehicle there.
Just because it was red.
You know, you think about they were out in front, the Bronco, the Blazer. Aren't they bringing the Scout back? Volkswagen is, aren't they? Trying to bring it back, an electric version? Making it in, I think, South Carolina.
Freeman is driving that 1206 from Humboldt, Illinois. Just past Arcola a little ways. Also another 1206 right there from Humboldt. Oh, he got
Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Oh my.
Freeman Bontrager's tractor. Jonas is driving that tractor. Made in 1967. Pair of Olivers.
Oliver 1850 and a 990 with that 3-cylinder Detroit diesel. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Russell. Got a 371 Detroit in that 990.
Some of those spinners in that wheel. Little dent or two, which they usually did receive.
And here we all the way from Platteville, Illinois. We got the I-8 856. Daniel Cousins driving Alan Minigan's 856. Been on the farm since brand new. Right there on the outskirts of Platteville, Illinois.
Here's a step tractor from Sydney. 1976 International 1466 Rider. Yeah, didn't have to tell him. Aaron Step owns it, Ryder's driving it.
Right behind that we have that Farmall Model 200. Steel, Missouri. Jay Ross is driving that 200 with that 2-bottom plow on that fast hit.
From Dyersburg, Tennessee, Matthew Simtel has his tractor. 3010, made in 1961. I know they used to have a good tractor show down there, but they still do down at that town in Tennessee.
Then we've got a Cockshut Model 40. It's a RCAF tug from Ottawa Lake, Michigan, pulling a 1983 Allison TF41 jet engine.
Dan has been here many years for that tractor. We sure appreciate it. We've seen it before. We love it every time. When he brings that, you almost feel like you need to salute on behalf of our friends north of the border. Columbia City, Indiana.
Uh-oh, one guy kind of passed away on there the way it looks to me, Max. He needs to go to the food court, get something to eat. He's just skin and bones.
That's an Oliver 1365 out front. Mike Gessner from Columbia City. That's a 1932 idea number 5 transplanter. And Patty is writing there. Hard to find good help. So when the H2A program lets you down.
That's what happens to you when you sit in the seat too long. Oh, we got John Baum from Appleton, Wisconsin, driving that Sears conversion right there. got a Model A engine that you took out of your Model A, and you got the conversion kit from Sears and Roebuck.
All right, Joey Rush of the tractor. He brought across the border. Enjoyed having dinner with Joey last night. 1977 60-30. He's got tractor stories. Put him aside. Visit with him. And he wrote on there, Joey wrote, hands down, best show around. Thanks for coming down, Rascal. We'll see you again sometime. Oh, no. And behind him here, there he is. Larger than life. Andy. Yes, Andy Pastor from up in Canada. They farm up in Ontario up there. He says it's going to dry here up there in Ontario, Canada. And he makes tractors look brighter all over the country.
Yeah, he stole that thing, the way it looks to me, because it come from Reynolds, Indiana. Now he's going to drive back to Canada. He's got to cross the border.
1206 Farm Hall from Sparta, Illinois. You know what Sparta is famous for?
Yeah, in the heat of the night.
Mike Westerman of that tractor. We do have the in the heat of the night 1206 here.
Here, it is here.
The movie star tractor.
Phil Mullins is driving this 40-20 gas right there, 1966, 40-20 gas. Thank you, Phil. Seymour, Illinois. Not less, but more. Seymour.
This is an unusual tractor here. International 1206 Rice Special, owned by Kristen Gall, New Cambria, Missouri, up in the northeast part of the state. Hayden Gall up there on the seat. One of two known of that model.
Yeah, we got 1956 1206. Josh and Tony have this from Benton Harbor, Michigan. Levi driving it. 1206 with the roll bar on it.
Here's Matt Elliott from Potomac on a John Deere 4320.
Mike Crane from Williams, Indiana. Mike driving at 1975 60-30. All chromed out. And all the way from Dewey, Illinois, Jason Fox has that case 1070 right there.
Made in 1972.
And right behind that is Ryan Fox's 806 gas. Also from downtown Dewey. Do we love it? Do we hate it? Oh, we just love Dewey, Illinois.
That's my accounting firm I use, Dewey, Cheatham and Howe.
That's right. That's a lawyer firm that has a lot of business in Illinois.
1950.
That's a John Deere G. We were going to get the Oliver day, because we got that John Deere G that just come out of the paint shop, and then we got a 730 that just come out of the paint shop.
This 88 looks like it's pretty.
Larry Phillips had that 730 diesel. Thank you, Larry.
And down in Bloomington, Indiana, home of the Hoosiers. Not to be confused with Purdue, the Indiana University. And Roger Funkhauser has that nice 88 restored, third generation, restored just last year. Beautiful Oliver 88, made in 1952.
986.
You know that IH logo?
That was Dustin on there.
That logo is so strong, it's going to be coming out on some new tractors at the Farm Progress Show. That logo will appear. I think we saw it here.
I think we've seen one here. What we got? Duals on a 660. How about that? Duals on that 660 diesel turbocharged. You could get it that has the international turbocharger on it, not the M&W, but the international. On a TD9 at the same turbo. 4320 right there, front wheel assist. So now there can't be too many 4320 front wheel assist with no 3-point. Kate Aggregate, boy, that's the original color when they come out with them things. And right after they come out with the 30 series, they come out with the 70 series. Nice job on that one. Then we got their 4300 with that 817 International engine in them. Oh, he's got that hydraulic lift on that drawbar. Look at that. Now they didn't make very many of those things to start with. And here comes two of them right there. And Cyrus is driving that one. He's got that crab steering on there. He's trying to impress all the girls with that crab steering. I know you, Cyrus. You're impressing the girls to just show what all you can do. You just need a couple pretty ones up there with you. They'd really get the thrill. Thank you, Cyrus, for all the stuff you brought. We got some more of the Wilkie tractors right here. 1206 front wheel assist. In the middle 60s, that's when they was really starting to get a little bit more of them around, but they cost a little bit more. Then we got this 3020 diesel right here. Also one of the Wilkies. Up to Waterloo, Wisconsin. Power shift 3020 diesel. I can see the power shift from here. You bet. Power shift in a 3020 diesel, that's about all you need with the three-bottom plow because that'd make her fall to her knees. Then we got this barn Steiger made in the barn up there in Fargo, North Dakota. Fargo, North Dakota area. And Moorhead, Minnesota. Barn find right there. That's what they were made, the Steiger brothers. And then we have a fence. This close from the fence up in Sharon Springs, New York, right there. Got the air conditioner on too. Look at that. Air conditioning up, baby.